Namaskaram. Welcome to P Gurus. I'm your host JK. Everyone might be expecting Sree Iyer to host today. Unfortunately, he's not there, so I'm just filling in. It feels like Ashwin getting a chance to play in finals against Australia. Just to give a snapshot about what we're going to discuss with our guest, we have picked up two topics. One is about governor's role with regards to running, or maybe just is it just approving the bills, or has he got something more to do? And the second thing about Rahul Gandhi's caste card, is he going to go for the caste and sex? If at all, why shouldn't he start right away with the state that they are ruling, Congress ruling? To answer these questions, we have our Friday morning in US and Friday evening in India, our regular guest, political analyst, Mr. Sriram Seshadri. I'm really happy to welcome him and be honored, I'm really honored to have him to host the show for him. Let's have Sriram Seshadri, sir. Namaskaram, welcome to P Gurus once again.
Namaskaram, JK. It's a honor to be part of the show hosted by you. We have done some Tamil shows, but this is the first time we are doing for P Gurus English. Definitely, it's a honor. Apart from being with Sree Iyer, you are also a very good friend of mine. So happy to be with you.
Right, just not a friend. I guess you've been my mentor to an extent. I guess you have called me sometimes and told me you can do better this and that. Thanks a lot for that. But just going back to the topic, TN governor's role. I guess DMK from the beginning they have been calling him. It's just a postman's job. We just have to approve. We just have to sign the bill and then send it across. But it has just kind of embroiled to an extent that it boiled down to going to an SC petition. Right, there are three states that has kind of filed petitions against governor. One is Punjab, other one is TN, the other one is Kerala. SC has some observation on the petition against Punjab governor, but nothing much on TN governor. But still, TN government and the DMK sympathizers have run a narrative stating that they have SC has come down heavily on TN governor as well. So just to understand, what exactly is governor's role in this?
Thank you, JK, and then namaskaram to all the P Gurus viewers. So while JK explained a very high-level preamble of what the issue is, let me take some time to explain two things. Number one, what is the current controversy when it comes to the governor's role? Why is this a talk of the town? Then I'll talk about what is the constitutional provision as with respect to governor's role in India. Number one, there has been always, whenever there is an opposition government is in place, especially DMK in Tamil Nadu, used to say that the governor role is a flab in the constitutional machinery. It's an unwanted position. But we need to go back to our constitutional assembly when they discussed what is governor's role when it comes to the provisions of the governor, powers of governor. When they talk about it, we need to actually take into account what does the constitution say about. In recently, Punjab Aam Aadmi Party, let me put it this way, Aam Aadmi Party and Congress together, Congress advocates went to Supreme Court stating that, governor is, against people's mandate and then, acting unconstitutional. And then, Tamil Nadu also joined, Kerala also is joined in this fray. We'll talk about what is the difference between Punjab and Tamil Nadu Kerala case together. In Punjab, there are 5 bills that were passed by the Punjab government assembly and then sent to governor for assent. Banwarilal Purohit is the honorable governor there. And 2 bills are finance bills, and then 3 bills are non-finance bills. According to Constitution, the governor has to approve the bills for it to become a statute. Either an ordinance or a bill should be approved by the governor so that it becomes a statute or law. Whereas the governor must approve as soon as the finance bill is passed by the assembly and then it comes to the governor should immediately approve and then not withhold the finance bill. Very clear, right? We should understand this provision very clearly for us to understand the other controversy. If it is a finance bill, the governor cannot spend time to see what are all the contents. Does he have an objection? Nothing. Same in the parliament also. The finance bill, the president has to give his or her assent, whether she likes it or not, or he likes it or not. Okay. So here also, the governor must approve the finance bill as soon as it lands in his table. So, which means when our constitutional assembly forefathers were explicit in saying that a finance bill must be approved, they gave a checks and balances for other bills and statutes of the assembly. Very, very clear, right? We should understand that. Our constitutional forefathers are brilliant, but of course they are also they didn't anticipate several other things that have led to 100+ amendments to the constitution as of now. But the governor has much more than 40+ articles in the constitution, concentrates on governor's role, even much more than what the constitution talks about the president. Governor is appointed by the president. The governor holds office at the pleasure of the president, which means as long as the president is satisfied or as long as the president wants, the governor is in that position. Why I am making this distinction? When a state government doesn't like, or when they have something against the governor, they cannot, the state assembly, even if it is unanimously passes a resolution, cannot impeach a governor, whereas a parliament can impeach the president. So that's the difference. In fact, governor's role has become very, very important in in our federal system. Worst comes to the worst, Article 355 gives the state only one way out to pass a resolution to be sent to the president, not to remove him, but to instruct him or her, but instruct the governor to act in such a way. But that is also is a request, is not obligatory. President is not obliged to abide by that. Having said that, apart from various other roles that the governor has, and even in the Supreme Court case, in Punjab state case, there is probably a governor should have applied his mind in resisting the assent, because in Punjab government the assembly was prorogued. So the governor took a call saying that any bills passed in the prorogued assembly is invalid, and hence he didn't give an assent. So that had two finance bills. So ideally speaking, governor should have reached out to Chief Justice of India. They could have reached out to High Court Chief Justice or to Solicitor General or Attorney General, asked for their opinion, and then taken a decision on that. But governors kept silent. I think that is where the governor probably failed in his duty in Punjab. Other three bills, he has every right to, in fact, I'll use a very sloppy word, sleep over it if he doesn't want to give a consent. Because that is what the Constitution says. Article 200 of the Constitution says governor has 2 or 3 remedies. When a bill is sent to him, I'll use the gender him because in both Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and in Punjab, the governor is a male. So I'll use the gender him in this conversation. The governor either can approve the bill, no issues in that, or he withholds the consent, which means he doesn't take any action on it. The third, he sends back to the assembly for reconsideration, saying, give his opinions, and then say, here are the places where I don't want to approve this, and then hence, please have a relook at it. The fourth, he sends it for presidential reference. So these are the 4 remedies governor has. One example, in Tamil Nadu, there is a rummy, bill against banning online rummy. And when ADMK government passed this statute, and then governor gave an assent, Supreme Court quashed it, saying that it's not a game of choice, but it's a game of skill, and hence cannot be restricted. So this time also the DMK government came with an online rummy bill. Governor sent back with his comment saying that please change the statute in such a way that it stands the scrutiny of the court. But they sent it back as is. Governor approved. Now the High Court has come very heavily on the state government with a stricture saying that wherever there is a game of luck, that can be restricted, but rummy and some of the other games that which are game of skill cannot be banned. So which means the High Court has not given. High Court has almost struck down the law. Similarly, when you apply on various other cases, the governor can either give an approval or send back this with a reconsideration. When the assembly again passes the same bill, then Article 201 talks about what the governor can do. In this case, he cannot send it back to the assembly again. So out of the four choices, if the bill is sent back to the governor again, governor loses one of the choices, which is he cannot reject and then send it back to the assembly. Either he has to approve it or he loses two choices. Either he has to approve or he can send it for presidential assent only. He cannot even withhold his assent. But withhold is a very loose word. He can actually enact on it. He can just sleep over it for entire assembly term to get over, the entire 5 years. Then the bill automatically becomes invalid. So it has happened in the past several times, right? Unless otherwise it is a finance bill, the governor has the final say. And then there is also certain articles in the constitution which protects the governor, which means the governor cannot be questioned. Article 361 of the constitution, the governor has complete immunity from court proceedings on some of the actions that he has done. But of course, Supreme Court has given its own version later on saying that if it is illegal, if the governor action is illegal, then the court can interfere in that. In Punjab governor case, that is what they have exactly done, because it was a money bill. Even if it is passed in the prorogued assembly, a money bill, withholding in a money bill is unconstitutional. And then that is where they came down very heavily on the Punjab governor. So Article 361 immunity is not available if the governor acts unconstitutional. Now let's come to Tamil Nadu's case. Kerala case is very, very similar to Tamil Nadu case, but the bigger portion is Tamil Nadu case. There are 14 bills pending with the governor. There are about 69 bills that have been passed in the last 2.5 years, 3 years of this DMK government. 14 bills are, out of the 12 bills are the same bill, same subject. 12 universities, state universities, for which the government wants to change the chancellor from the governor to the state government, which is a chief minister. They want to replace the chancellor of the university, which is currently by the governor. And then they want to appoint chief minister as the chancellor, because the governor is very strict in appointing VCs and the Senate members and etc. And hence they want to take the control. So 12 bills are there. Then there is one cooperative societies bill, amendment bill, where a government takes the it's a draconian law, which means a state government has the right to sack or dismiss all the elected cooperative representatives or elected authorities, and then replace them with their own appointment. So which means then Cooperative Societies Act is in violation. The 14th bill is nothing but NEET, banning NEET in the state. That is actually now sent for presidential assent, so it will remain in presidential assent. The constitution is very, very silent on certain things. Constitution says governor, if the same bill is sent back to him again, should give an assent within a reasonable time. Is our constitutional forefathers that stupid? I was sorry to use this word, But are they so insensitive that they didn't define what is the reasonable time? Because they wanted to have a checks and balances. Because if the state government passes a law which is unconstitutional or against the public interest, then the governor has to act constitutionally and then prevent such actions. So if it is against the public interest, governor has to stop that. That is why the governor is given that power to take as much as possible time for him to consider before providing an assent. So the reasonable time is from case to case basis. So in this case, another thing that silent about in the constitution is how many times the president can reject it. See, the governor can reject it only once, whereas a president, when it's sent to presidential assent, president can return to the governor asking him to send it to assembly for reconsideration. Constitution is very silent about if the third time, if the state assembly passes the same statutes and then sends it to the governor, should the governor approve only, or withhold and then sleep over it, don't act on it, or can he send it again to the presidential assent? And if it is sent to presidential assent again, can the president reject it again? Constitution is silent about it. So we, at this point in time, unless the constitutional bench comes and clarifies, we assume that president can reject it as many number of times because no explicit provision has been given. So what the DMK government or the Dravidian stocks are saying in Tamil Nadu is, because the case is happening in the Supreme Court, the governor was afraid to face the wrath of the Supreme Court and then sent all the 10 bills for reconsideration. Tomorrow, as we speak, 18th of November, the special assembly session is going to convene and then resend the bills to the governor. Governor will send it to presidential assent. President probably will take another 6-7 months and before any action is being taken. So this is going to continue. Supreme Court at any given point in time cannot, in my humble opinion, cannot give direction to the government or the governor and then set a time frame. Okay, there are certain exceptions where Supreme Court can take that decision. In 7-member, Rajiv Gandhi assassin release, the Supreme Court took the decision. That is because there was a flaw in the process that the lawyers caught on it, where the BJP failed. The president slept over it without giving a decision for several months, and then they used that as a reason because there was another judgment by the Supreme Court on the presidential assent on death sentence. Mercy petition was rejected. So on that, the Supreme Court took some liberal view, and then the lawyers used that judgment for their benefit. But otherwise, Supreme Court cannot direct the president or the governor to act in such a way, in one way or the other. And that is why the governor's position is far more supreme in the constitutional framework. In fact, someone talked about when this case is happening, someone probably commented, I think it was one of the honorable judges, I believe, said that it is a titular position. It's just a mere title. Governor is only a title. I'm extremely sorry if such a stand has been taken by the Supreme Court. I doubt, because immediately the news was deleted. No longer one can find that news in the news portals, because governor role is constitutional and not titular. Because the High Court Chief Justice is sworn in by the governor. The Chief Minister and the Cabinet is were sworn in by the governor. More importantly, the discretionary power of the governor, when especially to invite someone to form the government, it cannot be challenged in the court of law. That's what it says. Article 351 says, if the governor invites someone to form the government and then prove the majority in the floor of the assembly, the aggrieved party cannot go to the court and then say, how did the governor invite XYZ for this to form the government? So that's very, very clear in the constitution. So JK, so I'll just pause here because
Yeah.
what the governor's role has to be understood by the people. And all these gimmicks of this Dravidian stocks and liberal lawyers and all, I think once and for all, the Supreme Court will settle this. What are the powers of the governor, especially his discretionary power to give assent to the bill and the reasonable time? Worst, Supreme Court can recommend to Parliament to say pass, amend the constitution to give a time frame, and I doubt no government will do that because our constitutional assembly forefathers debated this at length to say should there be a time frame that should be given. The moment there is a time frame that is given, then it becomes uh, automatically the checks and balances are gone. And that is why governor's role is much more supreme than any other constitutional role, in my humble opinion.
Right. In fact, we beg to ask this question as well, because the governor has kind of sent the bill back to the assembly. The petition, will it stand valid now? Because I guess he's kind of relieved himself from all the responsibility that he held till now. Do you think the petition is still valid, that the state government will still push for the petition in the Supreme Court?
Yeah, I think the petition will be argued. Petition will be argued to a closure, but
Mhm.
the AG or a lawyer appearing for the governor will say that these are the actions being taken, and the court may pass its observation on it. But for the time being, the petition will continue to be heard because it is a constitutional matter. But in my opinion, I think the petition should be heard fully and the petition should be disposed of with a judgment, because that is when the clarity from the Supreme Court would be vital. Does the governor have the authority to spend as much time within courts, the reasonable time as mentioned in the Constitution? Does it mean 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, or 5 year? Because the governor has the discretion to see if it is against the public interest. Okay, then he can list down his observation saying that this is against the public interest. Say, for example, in the online rummy case, governor did mention, according to the sources, that when he rejected the bill, he said Supreme Court had already rejected this bill, saying it is a game, not a game of choice, but game of skill. And hence, without defining some of these, game of what is game of skill, what is game of choice, if the bill is, approved and then for, become a law, it would be challenged against in the court and then court will crash it. So he was hesitant to give this approval, but still in the moral interest, he gave his consent. And then now the court has, sent it back saying that it is illegal to a major extent. Very, very minor betting cases, which is game of choice and betting, that alone is, now, illegal in Tamil Nadu. Otherwise, the real intent of banning the online rummy still holds good because though the intent is good, but it cannot be banned. I think the intent of that bill to ban cannot be banned because it is a game of skill. That's what the court feels.
Right. In fact, just going back in time, we kind of remember what has happened in Delhi, right? The Delhi government wanted to appoint IAS and IPS officers, but then a special ordinance was passed in Parliament to ensure that it's not being done. Do you think is there any possibility of such kind of act being passed in Parliament to stop this kind of problem occurring between a governor and state government?
I think, in Delhi government case where the, appointment of bureaucrats, Supreme Court suggested that a parliament pass a legislature, so that, that was a suggestion given by the Supreme Court. And then, immediately government of India took that and then, passed the bill. First, they passed the ordinance and then immediately it came to effect. And then then afterwards, when the subsequent session of the parliament, they passed this statute in the parliament amid several discussions and ruckus. The bill was passed, and now this has become a law. So hence Supreme Court quashed that particular case itself. In this case, I think it is mandatory, in my opinion, for a broader discussion in the parliament about governor's role and the time being taken, definition of reasonable time, because to come otherwise this blame game will keep happening, right? And if there is a time frame given, then then governor should be able to return it more than once, or president should be able to presidential assent can be given any number of times, because there has to be checks and balances. Otherwise, imagine, say, if Tamil Nadu government passes a law stating that, say, for example, every household should start consuming TASMAC, right? It's against the public interest. Every youth should start consuming cigarettes and ganja. So, because it's not illegal. Consuming cigarette is not illegal, but mandating someone to do that is illegal, because the right is taken away. It's a constitutional right of choice is taken away. I'm just giving a hypothetical stupid suggestion, but if the state government can pass such a law, then what happens is, the governor has to, interfere to stop that. For example, in universities, a chancellor position, right? Is it a constitutional position of the governor to hold a chancellor role in the state universities? It is not constitutional. No, none of the articles in the constitution defines it. But UGC Act, he derives this authority from the Universities Grant Commission Act, where it is an executive position. The governor holds this executive position as the chancellor of university, which means UGC Act has to be amended, because as per the 66th schedule of Constitution, higher education is a concurrent subject, which means the central law supersedes the state law. On the contrary, any new law passed by the state cannot violate or negate the provisions of the central law. UGC Act is a central law, so that cannot be negated by the state law. It can happen under Article 252 if the parliament agrees to give an exception to a state. For example, a northeastern state or a special status state. Currently, only northeast is the special state. Northeastern states under Article, I think 357, if I'm not wrong, or so Article 371. They have a special status. So their central law, some of the central law can be excused, or state law can supersede, and that too a parliament should agree for that. Okay, so Article 252's exception it's an exception, cannot be the rule. That be the case, anything on concurrent list can the state can pass a law and then negate it, then the concurrent list itself becomes infructuous, right? So that is why in case of NEET, for example, Tamil Nadu government wants an exception, whereas governor says that it is against the law, MCA Amendment Act, which supersedes, and against the Supreme Court judgment. Constitutional bench has said that NEET is a mandatory. So if instead of DMK government going to the Supreme Court, they are actually playing around by just playing the gimmicks of vote bank politics by sending the bill and then stating that BJP government is against public. BJP is very clear. NEET is mandatory. Their stance is very clear. So what is there for this to? So elected government sentiments or Tamilian sentiments are not respected. That is how they send the narrative. I think these are all gimmicks played by the DMK party.
Right. I guess that's the crux of the matter, right? Appointment of vice chancellor being a kind of, in fact, a thorn in the flesh, if we have to say, in terms of DMK government's, TN government rather. So I guess we kind of spoke elaborately on that. Let's get back to the second topic of today, that's being the caste census. I guess Rahul Gandhi, if we had to, he could have just given that in the manifesto of the state government that is going to poll that, in fact, that is under polling states like Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, or even Rajasthan. But he didn't do that. But all he said is, I guess we will do it once we are in power in 2024. Is he playing to the gallery, or does he really have something in his mind? We know that Bihar has done the caste census. They kind of recommended 65% reservation, which we believe the Supreme Court might not even entertain as we know it. But do you think Rahul Gandhi is just playing the gimmicks as DMK is doing in Tamil Nadu?
Okay, JK and viewers of P Gurus, this is a very intense topic. Why Rahul Gandhi out of the blue picking up this caste census? Why is that the government of India, out of the last 75 years, barring 15 years, 2014 to 2024, now about 9.5 years, and Vajpayee government of 5 years, 15 years, 60 years, either the Congress was ruling or the government was at the mercy of Congress. They have not conducted a caste census except 2011. 2011 also, Congress government under Manmohan Singh's census was taken with the caste census, but they have not released it. The census completed in 2012-13 timeframes, and they were in power till 2014 March, or I think May. Why didn't they release the caste census details, right? And now Rahul Gandhi is coming and saying 2011 caste census should be published by the government of India, current government of India. He's challenging Modi why he's not doing it. I think we need to go back to several principles, political principles, and why this has come up, and what triggered this this imagination. I don't think Rahul Gandhi would have got this idea, because his advisors, foreign advisors like George Soros and Sam Pitroda, who is working on behalf of Rahul Gandhi, would have thought about all these ploy. Let's first understand, viewers, Congress' fundamental political policy is only two. Number one, divide the Hindus by the caste, unite the minorities by religion. I think these are the fundamental principles they work on, and they were successful in doing that. Until 1990s, when BJP was just a two-member party in the parliament in 1988 or no 18 or whatever, 1990, when VP Singh was the prime minister, BJP was 85-member party. They were growing. How? Because BJP redefined their political policies. They united the Hindus, broke away the caste inequations, united the Hindus, and that is how they started winning. To uniting the Hindus, it was a 100-year-long fight, or at least we could say that when the Jang was started and RSS was started, uniting the Hindus were the major task that BJP or the BJP's other forms of BJP like the Jang or RSS was doing. And they succeeded politically also by uniting the Hindus, especially in the Vindhyas, what we call as a Hindi heartland or a Bimaru region. Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand. That is a Hindi heartland, Bimaru region we call about. And then in these areas, they managed to consolidate the Hindus. And that is what Congress was pissed off. And they started consolidating when Advani took this chance of doing a Somnath to Ayodhya Ram Rath Yatra. And then Karunanidhi advised VP Singh to take from the skeletons from the cupboard of Congress, a Mandal Commission report. Morarji Desai formed the Mandal Commission, and Mandal was a Bihar chief minister for a month or something. He was a politician. He was a chief minister for a month or so. And under Mandal Commission, under Mandal, they actually looked at the reservation for OBCs. And then the Mandal Commission report was filed by the time Morarji Desai government fell and then Indira Gandhi became the prime minister in 80s, Mandal Commission report was filed. It was put in the, Almera, it was put in the cupboard, accumulating dust until 1990 when VP Singh took it out. I don't know how many of you viewers know that during Mandal Commission, huge riots happened. Okay. And there were Hindus were divided into people who support the reservation and then people who oppose the reservation. And now finally it reached the parliament, and then Indira Indira Sahani case, if I'm not wrong, where 9-member constitution bench, because 9-member constitution bench is a rarity in India. 5-member constitution bench is a norm. 7 when people want to go for an appeal, but a 9-member constitution bench ruled that reservation cannot exceed 49.5%. And then any dispute on this reservation should be by this constitution bench. Supreme Court alone, Supreme Court alone should interfere in this. No High Court can interfere in that. And of course, some states like Maharashtra or Tamil Nadu has given a larger, higher reservations, and they have put it under Schedule 9, protected that. Even that is pending before Supreme Court. Supreme Court has opined that any statute that is being listed in Schedule 9 doesn't mean that it is beyond the purview of the court. It will pursue that any day. If that case comes up, any day this can be broken. The 69% reservation also will go. Now, why is Rahul Gandhi taking it? Because that point in time, they knew that the divide between the Hindus happened by the caste group. But unfortunately, what happened? The caste leaders became prominent, like Kanshiram in Uttar Pradesh became very prominent. Lalu Prasad Yadav became very prominent. Mulayam Singh, other socialist leaders who took the benefit of this Mandal Commission and then became very prominent. But today, Rahul Gandhi gets this inspiration because 2 reasons. Number one, survey says 67% of OBCs are backing Modi. So the easiest way, go back to Congress' original principle that I talked about, viewers, that divide the Hindus by the caste, unite the minorities by the religion. So Rahul Gandhi wants to play probably the very dangerous game of dividing the Hindus by the caste again. So that's why he's talking about caste census. The second, another probably the thing that he instigated or gave him this idea, or gave his handlers the idea, was Manipur Chief Justice, when this Meitei issues and all before it started, gave a suggestion saying that when the Meiteis were asking for proportional representation, they wanted to be recognized as a scheduled tribe so that they can buy land. I think Muralidharan is a CJ, if I'm not wrong, is a Tamilian, who actually gave a suggestion that why not Manipur government look at giving a representation based on the percentage of the population. And immediately, no action was taken by neither Manipur government nor the central government, but the riots burst out. So Rahul Gandhi's cynical mind thinks that if a similar disturbance can be meted out in India against Modi, who has united the Hindus, and then who has the upper caste become more neo-nationals. So they, by default, because of their education and other things, they support nationalistic policy. Scheduled castes and scheduled tribes actually don't give a damn about Hindutva. For them, the survival itself is a matter. So for them, development is what will attract them to vote for a government or vote against. And for minorities, the anti-Hindutva is what parties they will go after. But the middle ground, which unites the glue between the OCs, I'm talking about other caste and the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, is the OBCs. And they if they can be disturbed, if there is a disturbance happens amongst them, then Rahul Gandhi thinks that he can have a field day. And Sachin, can you just put up the two screenshots that I wanted you to do that? Number one, the South China Morning Post talked about this at least 2 or 3 weeks back. Okay, imagine how the pressure is being built by the international community. The South China Morning Post tweets and then writes an article saying that as India's Modi faces a caste census challenge, is he clearly scared? The second one is Rahul Gandhi recently visited Uzbekistan and then met who? Met Samantha Power, who's actually known as a regime changer. George Soros's right hand or left hand woman, who actually gives all these ideas. So one needs to tie these loose links, viewers, to see why Rahul Gandhi is very much interested in this sort of caste slur, caste census. Okay, what will he do with that? 2015, Karnataka government under Siddaramaiah, Congress government headed by Siddaramaiah, did a caste census in Karnataka, and they never published the results of it until 2018 when they demitted office. And now they are in office. The Okaligas have challenged the Siddaramaiah government, if they publish the results of the the caste census, then they will vote against Congress, and then 28 out of 29 BJP seat will be won. So that's a challenge that they are giving. Madhya Pradesh, 14th November, if you read a Hindu newspaper headed by Ram, who is an anti-BJP person, very clearly says, in Madhya Pradesh, their reporter have gone all through. Kamal Nath never talked about the caste census, whereas Gehlot talked about it. 𝗣𝗚𝗫 in Chhattisgarh talked about it, but Kamal Nath never. Of course, Ranjit Surjewala did talk about it in Madhya Pradesh, but Kamal Nath, being a chief ministerial face, never touched that subject, because he knows very well that Madhya Pradesh people do not want this caste divide amongst themselves, because they have the scar of 1990s. One of the Bimaru states have the scar of 1990 Mandal Commission agitation and the aftermath of that. So they do not want to go through that process again. So they very clearly say that it is not a poll issue. So unfortunately, Akhilesh Yadav, who is one of the component of this Indie alliance, he rejects this idea of caste census. The reason, one of the reason is, Congress is nowhere in Uttar Pradesh. He doesn't want to give any room for them to revive, because caste census, if it happens, because like BJP is a beneficiary of OBC vote block, Akhilesh Yadav is another beneficiary of OBC vote block, especially the Yadavs. What happens is, when this caste census comes, and then if the OBC votes have to divide, Akhilesh Yadav will start losing, because the BJP voters are ideologically committed, whereas Akhilesh Yadav's the OBCs are not ideologically committed. So they will shift to Congress, and then he doesn't want to lose their vote share in Uttar Pradesh to Congress and allow Congress to revive. For example, in Bihar, Nitish Kumar did the caste census and announced the results public. 14% Yadavs and 5-6% Kushwa. So all along, say for example, 20% is the OBC reservation seats available, and everybody in OBC applied to government jobs or college seats as OBC. Whether you are a Yadav or a Kushwa, amongst them there was a merit. Kanshiram was the one who talked about this proportional representation of reservation. That is, take a percentage of population. If Parsis are 0.5%, they get a 0.5% reservation. If Brahmins are 3%, they get a 3% reservation. If Yadavs are 14%, they get a 14% reservation. Very stupid idea. reasons why it is a stupid idea. Because then what will happen? People will start exploding their population. Because only if I have a larger population, I'll have a larger pie. The second is, what is a Rajput in, say, for example, I'll give a comparison between Tamil Nadu and Andhra, or even within Karnataka. The Okaligas are there in SC, a small portion in SC, and major portion in OBC, and small portion in FC, or forward caste, or OC. The Lingayats, 7% on OC, 10% on BC, OBC. Whereas in the central list, the Lingayats are all FC. They are not OBC. So there are a lot of central state problems. The caste, differences, caste equations are different. Then if you divide the state, say for example, if the state say that take whatever the state is, the population, take that as a count, then you need to look at the minority population. Definition of minority also based on state. 14% Muslims in India because they are minority, because only 14% they are minority, whereas in Jammu and Kashmir they are 85%. So then they become a majority in Jammu and Kashmir. In Mizoram, the minus Assam, the northeastern state, about 80% are Christians. So which means non-Christians have become the minority there. So linguistic minority then. So all these confusions with that. So BJP wants to look at it in an entirely different manner than what Congress is doing. So Congress is actually caught the tail of the tiger. I think it is going to be a dangerous game for them, and none of the Indie Alliance partners are with them. Mamata Banerjee doesn't even want to discuss. In Tamil Nadu, Stalin says, if central government instructs, we will do caste-based census in Tamil Nadu. Why should central government allow? Because which means Stalin is against doing the caste-based census, but he just wants to, not say that. That is the reason. But Modi handled this in a brilliant way. When he was talking in Chhattisgarh about this, when Rahul Gandhi talked about caste-based census, he said, Rahul Gandhi is saying that national resources should go to the majority, which means whoever is the majority, the national resources is go to. And I, as a leader, thinks the poor is the majority. I don't give a damn about the caste or religion. The poor is the majority, so the national resources belong to them. Second statement was a brilliant statement which made Congress, bowled out Congress, was that Congress says that all the resources should be for the majority, which means, are they dumping the minorities for the vote bank politics of majority? So actually that stumped the Congress very well. But I think Rahul Gandhi, being Rahul Gandhi, will continue to talk about this all along. But it's a very, very dangerous game, viewers. I thought I explained the cynicism move of Congress and the George Soroses of the world and the anti-India force that is working to topple the current government and create disturbances. I think I'll pause here and then take any questions from the viewers or from you, JK.
Right. I don't have many questions as of now. If Sachin thinks there are questions right in the back end, we can always pull it up. But just to ensure, and we spoke at length again with regards to caste census. So Rahul Gandhi doesn't have much time. It's almost November 17, and it's just about 4 to 5 months left for the general election. I'm not sure how much he's going to gain just taking out this caste card right now, caste census card right now. But Sachin, if you have any questions or, yeah. Sriram sir, can you also touch upon TN farmers booked under Goonda's Act?
Yeah, I'll very briefly touch upon. I thought I'll reserve it for the Tamil audience, but I'll briefly touch upon here because it was asked about. Tamil Nadu, there is a hypocrisy played by this DMK government. When they were in opposition, they agitated against so many things, including the 8-lane road from Salem to Chennai, and then some other places, industries that are coming up in the disguise of it is going to destabilize agriculture and farmers issue. And today, There's a SIPCOT that was coming up near Tirunnamalai area where, farmers were agitating. About 20 odd farmers were arrested. Out of them, 7 were booked under Goonda's Act. What is the reason the police had given today? Is that they were agitating against the 8-lane road project, and also they were instigating on the developmental activity of SIPCOT industrial estate that is coming up. In fact, when DMK came to power in 2021, they also tried to form an industrial estate in Annur near Coimbatore. 3,500 acres of farmlands were being acquired, and then I think Annamalai took the agitation to the roads, and then that was stopped. Now, once again, Annamalai has to step in, if in my opinion, to stop this process. I think the farmers have the right to protest. Farmers has to be discussed. I think arresting them on Goonda's Act is a draconian policy. I think they are not terrorists. They did not cause any public damage. They were rightfully protesting for their rights. I think this is something that is a fascist government taking actions, which is unfortunate. I think police should drop the Goonda's Act. Unfortunately, what happens is court cannot interfere immediately. Court goes by the order in which the chronological order in which the Goonda's Act had been filed. Of course, many Goonda's Act cases had been crashed by the court, but it takes about 5 to 6 months, which means until such time these prisoners would be under Goonda's Act. They'll not have any other remedies. They will not get a bail until the cases are quashed. I think this is something that the government is losing its popularity day by day. I think Stalin should definitely look into it, and then invite them for the talks, and then talk about their issues, why they don't want to do that. If it is a fertile land, see, I'm not against development. I'm not against industrialization personally. Only sometimes the agricultural land will have to be compromised for development. But are we balancing it is a question. Ecologically balancing it, food protection wise, are we balancing it? Are the farmers getting sufficient compensation? Those things have to be taken into account. And I'm not going to say that don't acquire at all. For the sake of development, the acquisition of land is a must, and then government has the right to do that. At the same time, there is a proper way to do it, and that's my opinion. Maybe we'll talk about it much more at length in the Tamil hangout.
Right. So that question is done. Sachin, do we have any other questions? I could see there's one more, so we can take up. I guess that's all I think for tonight. Thank you very much, Sriramji. So two things have been discussed.
I think he said 5 question answers. I don't know whether I read something right. Sachin, are there questions?
Only the first 5 questions. No, we can take a few. It's just a general comment that we kind of put in for guests. So, okay, there's a question, rather, from Venkatraman Iyer. How true is that Priyanka Gandhi is likely to front end the Congress in the Lok Sabha elections? And will this make any change to their fortunes or that of the NDA? Your views, please.
Venkatraman, I think it's an interesting question. Priyanka Gandhi probably will take an action, take a front position in Uttar Pradesh alone, not beyond, in my humble opinion. But she may, because of Gandhi Vadra family, may get involved in other places. But it's not going to change the fortune. I think Mallikarjun Kharge probably has a couple of success. Himachal Pradesh and Karnataka after taking over the position. I think Himachal Pradesh was just he took over as a president, so you can't give it 100% to them. But Karnataka definitely, it was his home state. No one can give that benefit to him. Other than that, I don't see Congress per se will have a major gain, in my opinion. India alliance is already breaking. The dots are falling. And India alliance, there are differences already. The 4th meeting they couldn't have, the rally they couldn't have. After 3 meetings, they couldn't meet even once. So which means there are a lot of things to be covered. Let's wait and see.
Yeah. And we have another question from Pavan Kishore. Namaste, sir. Bank employees are ASSC called for nationwide strike in December. Nitish announced agitation for special status. Will Inc. fake guarantee them? Rather, will there be more agitations closer to? I guess you just said that. You're going to expect more
Yes.
agitations
So there are
closer
going
to
to be
the
more
confirmed.
agitation. Special status already. Nitish Kumar asked for it even last election before, just before last election. He's just trying to find the front page, the headlines grabber, because Nitish Kumar is a spent force, like Chandrababu Naidu. Nitish Kumar is a spent force. So 2014, post 2014, he is going to be dumped by JD RJD also. So he's just trying to see that whether he can grab headline space. Indian National Congress fake guarantee will definitely do a lot of guarantees, and then they will sponsor a lot of agitation. They tried it with the farmer agitation, one after the other, one after the other. They'll do. They'll even do the caste agitation. Before 2024, brace up for many agitations to come. I think it's going to be a busy 4 months or 5 months until the general elections.
Right. The next question from Dakshinamurthy AL. Will Seeman be a major factor in 2026 as he is having good vote share? And is he not aligning with other party? Who are his voter base? Are they loyal or will swing towards Annamalai or Vijay? Hoping Vijay will come into the fray shortly.
Yeah. So Seeman is an interesting factor in Tamil Nadu politics. He will not ally with anybody. His main focus is anti-DMK. He's taking on the DMK ecosystem, and that is where anti-DMK and youth, predominantly the youth. What Seeman lacks is consistency. What happens is in 2019, someone voted for him, will not vote in 2021. Someone votes for him in 2021, will not vote for him in 2024. So he is a moving population. That 7 percentage vote share that he has built from last 10, 15 years, from 2 percentage to 7 percentage as we speak. That 7 percentage will not grow to 10. It will reach a peak out at 7 to 8 percentage and start stagnating, or it will go down. And rightfully, he is building his voter base to 7 or 8 percentage so that he can garner more and more negotiation power, like what PMK did in 90s. Vijay, I don't know whether he'll come to politics. He is showing his intent. I also hear that after 2024 he may enter into politics after 2024 for 2026. But what major impact he can do to 2026 is he can actually take away the minority Christian votes away from DMK and Congress. I think that's a major impact that he would have. Seeman actually very interesting. 2016 election, Seeman got 1.5 percentage vote, and DMK lost by 1.5 percentage. He said, "I did not win any seat, nor helped anybody to win, but I caused a loss for DMK." I think that's a very brilliant narrative that he built after 2016 election. So he'll keep building such narratives. I think a loyal voter base of Annamalai is increasing. Post 2024 itself, we can find a huge realignment in the southern districts. A lot of ADMK leaders and youth will start moving towards Annamalai in southern districts, especially. And northern districts, PMK will start losing its prominence. So northern district will be a fight between BJP, ADMK, and DMK. In Kongu region, predominantly, once again, three corner fight, but where ADMK will be the stronghold, followed by BJP and DMK. In southern district, BJP, DMK. I think this is the political realignment that would happen in Tamil Nadu. Some way or the other, the ADMK, one of the Dravidian force will start, marginalizing. And that's what my expectations are. May happen in 2026 or beyond.
Right. The last question, if we have to. So, can BJP use all caste leaders to speak against Rahul Gandhi's divide and rule idea? Is it really possible?
I think BJP will brush it aside unless and otherwise, because it is going to backfire on Rahul Gandhi, because the caste-based census, it's going to backfire very seriously. Let me give an example. On what basis that you will give the reservation on the basis of the caste census? Okay, 2021 census could not be taken because of the COVID. Let's say 2026 we do the census, we do the caste-based census. let's say that Brahmins are 4%, you give them 4%, and then say Yadavs are 15%, you give them 15%. I'm just putting a number at random, and then you say that Okaligas are 3%, give them Okaliga 3%. And then 2000, assuming that the caste census happens in 2035 instead of 2036, instead of 2031, and the percentage switches. Brahmins have become all of a sudden 6%. Are you going to give 6% reservation? So by every 10 year, are you going to keep on readjusting your reservation? And what about minorities then? The number of minorities would be known, so that even the only good thing would happen is the crypto Christians also will be disclosed, because they will no longer remain as, because if they are going to get a reservation, then they also will start manifesting themselves openly. That's the only advantage that would happen. I think the caste-based census will divide the country, and it is dangerous, and divide the Hindus especially. I think it is very dangerous because of that, and that is what Rahul Gandhi wants. And then rest of the ecosystem within India, minus Rahul Gandhi, minus probably the communists for the sake of some headline space. Nobody will approve of this. Nobody will align with Congress idea of this. I think it will die down slowly by 2024. It will probably, Rahul Gandhi will keep, and Rahul Gandhi lacks the consistency. Imagine, VP Singh, Lalu Prasad Yadav, the socialist people like the, Badals, like Charan Singh, and, Mulayam Singh Yadav. Mulayam Singh Yadav no longer there. Badal is no longer there. Charan Singh no longer there. And you have, Lalu Prasad Yadav incapacitated. Then you have Om Prakash Chautala, who is also a socialist. Probably he's also is incapacitated because of the age. Nobody is there. No tall leader who can take this in a consistent way forward. Rahul Gandhi is an excitement. He just wakes up on the other side of the bed, he'll forget about this issue. So he is not a consistent person. If one has to defeat Modi, one has to be a larger nationalist. And that's the only way you can beat Modi. I think that is what, even Prashant Kishore talked about it. I think, this caste issue will die down on its own, because people will start asking questions back to Rahul Gandhi. What were you doing when you were ruling 60 years? Sorry, what was that? Can you brief?
Murli, Achutaraman, can you brief on where we stand?
One nation, one election. I have my reservation. I think I talked about it in P Gurus also once, saying that it is a 3 to 5 year transformation program. Even if legislation is passed from that time, it is a 3 to 5 year, minimum 3 to 5 year, transformation program for the electoral politics to get aligned across the nation. A lot of open issues to be talked about. I think, there are, government has invited, opinions. A lot of open issues has to be ironed out, and too many changes have to happen. A Representation of People Act and constitutional amendments have to happen. What we talked about, Article, 356 and all have to be discussed about. Lot many have to be done. I don't think, it can be done overnight. And even if the law is passed, it will take at least 3 to 5 years as a transformation program.
Right. Sachin, I guess that's all we have for tonight. We answered all the questions that were there. So thank you very much, Sriram Seshadri ji. It was nice having you on the show once again.
My pleasure. Thank you very much. Thank you, viewers.